You see, that's 8. What would it be? Yeah, it'd have like for it to be. No, that's 20. So clear. What other number could it be to give them 5?
But wouldn't that break the game then?
I don't know. This is basically what we're discovering. This door slid closed. Junpei's forehead furrowed as he thought. That meant the number for the mysterious bracelet was 6. But how could it be 6? The display on the bracelet clearly showed a 0. Suddenly, from somewhere far beneath them, they heard the creak and groan of tearing metal. With it came the sound of water pouring into parts of the ship that had, until recently, been dry. Oh man, that's not good. It was our time's just about up, huh? Give me a second. So if that's 6, that's 3 plus 6 plus 2. No, that's 2. They wouldn't be able to open the door. With Snake left behind. At any rate, we know that the door can be opened. Let's go. But, Snake, are you sure? Yeah, you know that only Junpei and I can go through this way. You needn't worry. I have a solution to this problem. My last resort. But if now is not the time for last resorts, then when? Last resort? Junpei 7 and Snake ran full tilt down a long straight hallway. They were headed for the stern of the ship and had no time for distractions. As they ran, 7 spoke. Gotta admit, you really surprised me there, kid. Couldn't figure out how the hell you were gonna get out of that one. How come you didn't do that right off the bat? As I told you, it was the last resort. I had to use it at the beginning of the game. Had I used it at the beginning of the game, I would have come under a great deal of suspicion. I imagine most people would have taken it to mean that I was 0. Once they convinced themselves of that, I wasn't optimistic about my chances of making it out of here alive. I'm guessing he took off his arm, let alone unscathed. I felt it best to play my cards close to the chest as they were. That way, if I were in a situation where there was nothing else I could do, I'd have a little trick up my sleeve. I'd just take my bracelet off. Snake's plan had been simple, but effective. He'd simply remove his bracelet. How? To Junpei, it had looked as though Snape had simply crushed the bones of his hand until they were small enough to fit through the wristband. Of course, that would have been great minds think alike. Practically impossible. So, how had he done it? My brother's left arm is, oh my god, I can't believe someone is playing this right now. Just finished this a few days ago. We're actually about to end the stream when this ending stops. But, if you want, Zapdos, on Monday we're gonna get the real ending. The true ending. So, you can also follow me and watch it on Monday. My brother's left arm is not like a normal person's arm. It's fake. It's not a real arm. Snake had slid the bracelet off and tossed it into the coffin. Hello, welcome! Thank you for stopping by! With it gone, he had little to fear from the numbered doors. He'd walked through the door easily, without authenticating. He stepped out of the other side unscathed. I used to wonder how people stumble upon our humble abode, right? He stepped out on the other side unscathed and began running down the hall alongside Junpei and 7. With a Pokemon name nonetheless, yeah. We have a lot of Pokemon people in this chat here. They kept running for a while longer, and eventually came upon a set of stairs leading downward on the right side of the hallway. They stopped and peered down the staircase. As far as they could tell, it went all the way to the bottom deck. There didn't seem to be any flooding. They nodded quickly to one another and jogged down the stairs. It took only a few minutes to make their way to the bottom deck. There was a single hallway in front of them, at the end of which was a single door. Junpei threw it open. I mean, actually, that makes sense now, thinking about it. See, if Zero knew that Snake could take off his arm, and that he knew that Ace would try to kill Snake because Ace knew Snake, well, Snake knew Ace, and Ace could have sort of seen something, like realized that, you know, that makes sense for June to be Zero.
What about Clover?
Well, Clover didn't know that, because Clover was in the experiment in Nevada. Remember? So...
What I'm saying is, I was saying that she took part of the testing, is what I was trying to get at.
Well, maybe... I'm thinking it's just like, maybe Clover didn't know because Snake was trying to keep it a secret from Clover? To not, like, bring back the emotions of 9 years ago or something? Anyway, inside was a massive iron gate. A plate was affixed to the top of it. It read Incinerator. Incinerator? Oh my, that doesn't sound very pleasant. Do you see a lever near the gate, perhaps? Yeah, right over here. How did you know that? Well, I'd be happy to regale you with this story. I imagine it should only take half a day or so? Ugh. Junpei grumbled, gave Snake a dirty look, and jogged over to the lever. If you pull it, the door ought to open. Got it. He pulled the lever down. With the rumble of an ancient motor, the door opened. There was no need to hold back, and no time to hesitate. They pushed their way inside. Standing in front of them was Ace and Lotus. Ace still held the revolver in his hand. It was still pressed hard against Lotus's temple. Its small dark bruise had begun to form near the tip. Even from the several yards away, Junpei could see that Lotus was shaking. She was terrified, but perhaps more interesting was what Junpei saw behind them. 9. Another number 9 door. But why? Why was there another one? The door stopped Junpei in his tracks. It simply shouldn't have been there. As his brain finally began to consider why, the whine of a warning klaxon filled the air, drowning out any thought. Warning! Warning! Emergency incinerator command has been acknowledged. Automatic incineration will take place in 9 minutes. Please evacuate the incinerator immediately. Oh my, how exciting! You've run quite a show here, Zero. A terrifying smile twisted Ace's face. What's the matter? Too frightened to understand? Here, let me explain. It's said the incinerator system is about to activate. In 9 minutes, this room will be engulfed in flame. Huh? Who are you? You don't recognize me? I'm hurt. It's me, Snake. Snake? Ah yes, you are alive. I'm afraid your bizarre style had me confused. Of course it'd be 9 minutes. Yes, it's always 9! I'm quite glad to see you're alive. Ace's voice didn't change. Snake ground his teeth. If you don't mind my asking, how did you get here? Snake, Junpei, 7? The 3 of you couldn't have opened the door with a 9. Did you use Clover's bracelet, perhaps? What? Oh well, your reaction suggests that you did not. Hold on. Well, it would break the mood if it wasn't a 9. Pretty much.
It's also called the Nona Ray game.
Nona. meaning 9, or grandma in, Italian.
True. It's a grandma game.
It's a grandma game.
This is definitely not a grandma game.
Oh yeah, this is definitely a grandma game. I don't know what you're talking about. What did you think we'd have Clover's bracelet? Junpei felt his chest tighten. Oh, they haven't told you. Told me what? Clearly not. Normally, I would take some time and enjoy the moment, but I'm afraid my time is at a premium just now. I'll have to make this quick. Clover, don't do it, Ace. Keep your goddamn mouth shut. Clover? I said stop it. Don't listen to him, Snake. Junpei could feel his voice going hoarse, but Snake didn't listen to him. What happened to Clover? Ace looked at him. The corner of his mouth curled into a hook of a cruel smile. Clover died. The color left Snake's face. He shook his head weakly. No, that's not true. That's impossible. It's a lie. It has to be a lie. Oh, it's quite true. I can assure you of that. I killed her myself, you see. What? I'm sorry. Did I stutter? I killed her. Snake's face twisted into a mask of rage, molten red rising to dot his pale skin. His entire body shook. He looked to Junpei disturbingly like a demon. I would have rather she died with less suffering. A bullet in her brain, perhaps, would have been ideal. Unfortunately, that would have made quite a bit of noise. Circumstances being what they were, I was forced to settle for the knife. The one the ninth man had, you remember? I believe I caught her just below the shoulder blade. I was rather lucky, in fact. My first thrust went right between her ribs. Her flesh was so soft. My knife slid in so easily. There was no resistance. Snake activated his Byakugan. Yep, pretty much. That feeling was, I confess, I feel rather exciting. It was a powerful memory. Someday, perhaps, I hope I can feel it again. Incineration will begin in 7 minutes. I'm going to kill you, he says as he actually moves his lips. Snake's words were guttural growl, barely audible. I'm sorry, what? I'm going to kill you. Ah, so you're going to kill me? Please do. Come now, I'm waiting. Don't do it. Don't listen to him, Snake. Stop it, kid. He's screwing with your head. Is there a problem? What are you waiting for, boy? Don't you want me to send you to join your sister? Don't! Snake! Don't do it! But Snake could no longer hear them. Snake could no longer hear anything. Ah! Snake moved like a bolt of lightning. I cannot really scream too much right now because my dad is asleep, my mom's out of the country, my dad is asleep, and my brothers are asleep, so yeah. His scream echoed through the incineration chamber, full of rage and despair. Poor Lotus just being reduced to a damsel in distress role, yeah, especially when she is super smart and super fantastic. Snake! Snake! Ooh. This is the first murder we actually have with our own eyes. Well, that isn't us, you know? Another scream filled the room. It was Lotus. She ran across the room towards Junpei, her eyes wide with terror. Snake's ill-fated attack had loosened Ace's grip on her. She made a run for it. She reached Seven and Junpei and ducked behind them. Junpei could feel her fingers on his arm, tight enough to be painful, keeping him between her and Ace. Incineration will begin in 5 minutes. Give me the woman. He raised the gun. I need her. Without her bracelet, I will be unable to open this door. Quickly now. I don't have time for your shenanigans. Shenanigans. That's a funny word. I'm sorry. In the center of the room, Snake's body lay eerily still. He looked like a human larva, prone and vulnerable on the floor. I see. Then it would seem I have no choice.